Hello, my name is Aaron Balke, and today I'm going to show you my logotherapy GPT program. It is a AI-driven question and answer program to answer questions regarding logotherapy and psychotherapy in general. Before I go over all of it, I do want to say a massive thank you to 3 different GitHub projects, all very similar. Private GPT, which got me started on all of this, Local GPT, which was a branch of Private GPT, and then another project called Ask Multiple PDFs. All of these are very similar, but they all helped me find solutions to come together to put all together. So shout out to all 3 of those projects. The program itself uses a Streamlit interface and a Streamlit front end pretty much. And then on the back end, it uses LangChain to create a retrieval Q&A chain, and it uses LangChain to create the embeddings, the large language model, all of that good stuff. So massive thank you to LangChain as well. When the program starts up, it will bring up this page and it'll load in the database. This is loading the model and all of that sort of stuff to have the questions asked. The loading of the database will also only occur once. Once it's completed once, it's cached on either the local hardware or on the Hugging Face hardware. And so this process here only has to happen once, and then once you start asking questions, you don't need to do it again. So it brings up Logotherapy GPT, an AI chatbot to quickly access logotherapy information trained on the works of Viktor Frankl and the International Forum of Logotherapy. So we can ask it a question. How can logotherapy help the elderly, let's say? Wait for it to process. This usually takes just a few seconds. There we go. So how can logotherapy help the elderly? Logotherapy can help the elderly by opening new fields of meaning. It can shift the focus from age to people and recognize the unique contributions of each individual regardless of their physical abilities. It can also encourage individuals to find purpose and meaning in their lives, even when they may no longer have the ability to do certain things. Additionally, churches and other organizations can include older members in their working committees to provide healing and a sense of community. Then it will provide a source. I have it just provide the first source, the source with the most similarity, and then provide the quote and where it came from. I built this model to make it as lightweight as humanly possible. The reason for that is I am running it locally for debugging and troubleshooting on a 1070, and a GTX 1070 is not built for AI. So I was trying to get it to fit on that and was luckily able to get it to work on here. And one of the ways to do that is to use Torch Float 16s. Float 16s work on are much lighter and work on lighter hardware a lot better than other sorts of data types. So Float 16s were used. We got low CPU memory usage is true. The client did want the program to provide more in-depth answers, so not just like half-sentence answers, not just, a couple words, wanted longer, more detailed explanations for different things. And so one way to get that to work is to add a minimum length here of 512 tokens, the maximum length of 2048. That is the max length you can use because of the models I've been using, the lightweight models. And so that has to be the max, but the minimum length we're able to bump up to 512. The client also wanted the program to just use the data from the documents provided and not give any, creative answers or, create from ideas outside of the documents. And so one way to get that is to set the temperature to 0. So just give it to me straight, don't add any creativity to it. So that's when the model is initially loaded. That is that loading database in the beginning. And once it's loaded, you don't need to load it every time you ask a question. That portion just gets loaded once. So This was another fun part. The original template prompt was too generic, and it was allowing it to grab information that wasn't in the source docs. It was grabbing information from outside of the source docs, and so with the original given prompt, it was answering questions it shouldn't. It was, there's stuff like I was asking it non-logotherapy questions. I was asking it how the pyramids were made, and it was answering fairly reasonably, which it shouldn't have. It should have just said no. So I had to create my own template here. The prompt itself is pretty much forcing it to only answer questions with the documents provided, the given context here, only answer questions about psychotherapy, logotherapy, and in order to get it to give more detailed answers, I do require it to give a very detailed, comprehensive academic answer, and that is Logotherapy GPT. If you have any questions or inquiries, please contact me. Otherwise, have a good one.